What is up, Galaxians? Welcome to another episode of Galaxy CD's Rocks and Flips. If you are new here, my name is Ryan, and I am a full-time reseller, part-time YouTuber, and part-time podcaster working out of my home here in the Batcave in the greater Cincinnati area, and this channel is all about the flip life. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're a regular here, thank you so much for coming back. You've reached the midweek What's Sold on eBay recap edition of the show. I've got, I think, 17 things to show you today. Had some really nice stuff get out of here over the last week. But before I get into that, I wanted to take just a minute to show people how to switch how you pay for shipping within eBay's managed payments. This is a question that I see coming up in the various Facebook groups time and time again. So I just wanted to do a quick tutorial if you're not sure how you get it switched from PayPal, which is where it defaults when you first switch over, to managed payments. This is the video for you. So we're going to switch over to the screen. You can see here I'm on my Manage Orders Awaiting Shipment screen. I'm going to click here on Print Shipping Label. And this is the screen that you normally will see. And it kind of looks like that's all there is. And it's got down at the bottom there, Purchase and Print Label. And it's not obvious where you would switch it. If you scroll down all the way to the bottom, you'll see here there's a setting that says select how you pay. If you're brand new to managed payments, that's going to be already on PayPal. If you want to switch it to pending payments, just click on that link. It'll open it up like this and give you the option to switch between the two. If you're on PayPal, switch it to your pending payments, and that will become your new default. It will remain that until or unless you change it back. So this is not something you have to do every time. This is a one-time setting. You go in, you set it, and you forget it. So hopefully that helps. Like I said, once you've done it once, you don't have to do it again, and that should solve your problems. So was that helpful? You can let me know in the comments. Send me a quick message. Let me know if that's something you were struggling with. If this was helpful, I would appreciate it. And now let's get to the good stuff. Let's talk about what sold last week on eBay. It was a really, really good week. Like I said, I've got 17 things here for you today. This, as you may know, if you're new here, you don't know that, but these are just the highlights. This is not all I sold in the last week. I'd be destitute. But this is kind of the bigger items that sold. Generally, I'm only highlighting kind of the really interesting items that sold for, say, more than $20. This first one is a pair of books from Temple Bailey. One of them is from the 1940s. The other is from 1926. A pair of kind of romance novels from that era. Hardcovers with dust jackets, Enchanted Ground and The Blue Window. These sold. I sent out an offer. There was a watcher on these. I had this 2-pack for, I think, $24.99. I sent out an offer for 15% off, and somebody snapped that up for $21.24. Next up, another book, Plutarch's Lives from John and William Langhorne. This was from a Harper and Brothers edition from 1837, leather bound. Actually, despite a little bit of wear on it, it was in really, really good condition. This is another one I was running for $24.99. Sent out an offer for 15% off, and this item is on its way today. Disturbed, coming down with the sickness. Man, this goes back. When I first opened my record store way back in the day in 2000, this was one of the first big hit albums that came out during that time. This is a really rare advanced promo from Giant Records. It's in a cardboard sleeve. It's called Coming Down with the Sickness. Highly unusual piece. If you're into kind of the new metal scene, this was one of the bigger albums that came out that year. This thing went for $23.99 with free shipping. So really cool piece. Back to the books. A 1925 edition of Moby Dick. This was a Grosset and Dunlap. They're a big kind of reissuer of previously published works, but this was a photo play edition. So it had some pictures in it from what I assume was a movie that was made from this particular story. So this was kind of a neat piece, $24.99 with free shipping. Own this for about 67 cents. Another CD, the one, the only, Sandy Rockstar. This was a various artist compilation from Street Beat Records from 2000. This was part of the big 8,000 CD lot, so I own it for less than 4 cents. This went for $24.99 with free shipping. Another old book. I own this one for about $1. Lala Rook, An Oriental Romance and Other Poems, Odes, and something else I don't remember. Melodies and Sacred Songs from 1888. This is a really, really old one. Was in really good shape. The cover was very ornate, had some gold on it. A really nice looking book. I had it listed for $39.99. I was running it on a 10% off sale. Somebody sent me an offer for $25 because I only own it for $1. I went ahead and took that offer and got this thing out of here. You've seen these before if you've been watching for a while. The vintage Titanic Historical Society lot. This was a couple issues of the Titanic Commutator and a couple of heritage tours where they did like a photo remembrance, if you will, I guess, of the Titanic. I had 4 issues in this lot. I own these for 8 cents a piece, so my cost is 32 cents on this lot. I had it originally for $36. I was running it for 30% off, so this went for $25.20. This was plus shipping. This went out priority mail, padded envelope. This was a really neat one. This is a box set of 78s from probably the 30s or early 40s, strictly from Dixie on RCA Victor. The interesting thing about this was the buyer sent me a message, and Linda Keene, who was the vocalist on this set, is a relative of someone in the family. So they want to get this for somebody as a birthday present. I don't know if it was a mother, a sister, a cousin. I don't recall what the actual relationship was, but they were super excited to get this. Went for $26.99 plus shipping. I was running this for 10% off. I own this for, maybe $1. So really nice sale and going to someone who will truly appreciate it. So that's always nice. Another CD, Unwound Repetition. This was another new CD from that big lot on Kill Rock Stars from 2009. This went for $27 with free shipping. Back to the books. A really neat, probably not an interesting read, but a really interesting piece from 1947, a first edition hardcover from the IES. It was a lighting handbook from the Illuminating Engineering Society. So this talked about all the different kind of lights and ballasts and electrical connections and so on that were available and how to do them at that time. Really tons of illustrations. It was a really, really interesting book. In fantastic condition. This went for $34.99 with free shipping. So if you're out at the sales, particularly, I don't find these generally at garage sales. This is more of an estate sale kind of item where someone was a collector or they were in this line of work and they've had a collection of these. This I found in a box, under a table, under a bunch of other stuff. I bought a big lot of books that day. I probably own this for about 50 cents. So real nice flip. More books. This is from the big 2,500 book lot that I just did. Considerations on Representative Government by John Stuart Mill from 1873. This is another one that, given its age, was in remarkably good condition. Brought decent money, $35. I own it for $0.25, so we will take that. Another CD from 1997, Discord Records, Autoclave. I had this listed, I think, for $49.99. And I got a best offer of $41, free shipping, which I went ahead and took. A real interesting piece. Another book. This was a fascinating story. So this is a Greek-English lexicon from 1958, unabridged. This thing was enormous. It was all I could do to get it in a box that was 14 by 10 by 4. I think it weighed, I want to say like 10 pounds. It was absolutely huge. I had this listed for $59.99. I got an offer on it for $45. I countered at $50, and the guy declined. And not 10 minutes later, somebody bought it for full price. So sometimes it pays to try to negotiate with somebody, and if they don't buy it, hang on to it, and it will eventually sell. So this was a real nice sale. This is also from that big lot of books. So this is another one that I own for one whole quarter. Next up, another book from that lot, Thy Will Be Done, Conquest of the Amazon, Nelson Rockefeller. This was a book from 1995 about the oil industry and their attempted takeover of the Amazon area when oil was discovered there. Fairly rare book. I listed it for $59.99 and got a full price purchase on it within about 3 days. So really pleased with that. This is another one from that big lot. So 25 cents into $60. Another one, $59.99 again, The Second World War by Winston Churchill, 6-volume hardcover set. If you were here a couple of weeks ago, you'll remember that I showed you a set similar to this that I sold for $69.99 that had dust jackets. This set was in probably equally good condition, but did not have the dust jackets. There was another one just like it for $59.99, so I priced mine the same, sold it within 24 hours at that price. So this is the third set of these essentially that I've sold over the last month. The 6 books are on my accounting at 25 cents a piece, so $1.50 into $59.99. This was a really interesting one. I bought this at an estate sale. I paid $10 for these. It's a miniature books, the Little Leather Library. These were from, I want to say, the 1920s era. This set is supposed to have 30 books in it. So they were asking like $25 for this at the estate sale. And I pulled it up and I did some research and realized it was missing a book. So I went to them and said, hey, you know what? I'd really like to get this, but it's actually one book short of being full. Would you take $10 for it? And they said, yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. So fast forward, I've had it for several months now, but this is actually going to Alaska. Somebody picked this up, $75, free shipping. These are tiny little, they're probably 3-inch by 3-inch square books of poetry and literature. Really interesting little set in a kind of cardboard sleeve. So nice flip, $10 into $75. And here is your flip of the week. Mr. Foxcroft's Sermon Upon Evangelic Preaching from 1740. This is far and away the oldest book I've ever had here at the Galaxy. This thing probably would have been worth more money, but there were probably half a dozen pages where the original owner had cut something out of them. I don't know if it was a drawing or if it was a particular passage of scripture or notes or what it was, but there were some areas that were cut out of the book, which I disclosed in the item description and by taking pictures. That's one of the big things I harp on repeatedly on this channel: disclose, disclose, disclose. That way people know what they're getting and you're not at risk of a return or bad feedback. Because of the damage on this book, I put it at auction. I know I just did a podcast not 50 hours ago about our auctions dead. Here's a case where you could say auctions are in fact not dead because it fits the criteria that I talked about in that podcast. It was a very unique item. It was the only one that was listed, and there was quite a bit of demand for it. Within 5 hours of this item being listed, I started receiving messages about it with further questions. So I started this at $29.99. It went, as you can see, all the way up to $155 plus shipping. So this is a case where an auction was actually a win for me. I will take, this is out of that big lot of books that I own for 25 cents a piece. So massive, massive score. Great, obviously, return on investment, huge profit. These are a lot of fun. So hopefully you found this interesting, helpful, and informative. If you did, do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button. With that, we're going to close it for today. We will be back on the weekend with another podcast. And now it's time to sell. Thanks, guys. Hey, everybody. Thanks for spending a little time with Galaxy CDs, Rocks, and Flips. If you'd like to spend a little more time, there's another video in the upper right-hand corner. If you'd like to spend a lot more time, you can subscribe down below.